It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll accept
bit flirty.
So where
Not
you at in the
necessary.
world, Crispr?
U.S.
You're in the United States? Sweet.
Yeah.
So you're in a flat Earth server, correct?
Yeah, I assume that that's not necessarily what I'm here to talk about, though, right?
It's all connected by the lips.
Yeah, no, I figured that out from the name.
Oh, you're that. Yeah. Well, some of you guys aren't that sharp. Let me introduce myself.
All
My
right.
name is Quantum Eraser. You know who I am, sir?
I think we may have had some limited interaction through text in the past on YouTube.
Yeah, you think? So, why don't you give us your evolution story? Why don't you start off by defining it, and then please tell everyone what the scientific theory of evolution is, and if you could cite that here in live stream voice text for us, that would be helpful.
So, I mean, like, how much are you looking for here?
I just want you to.
I thought
definition.
I'll be honest. I was asked to join. I thought somebody had like some real specific questions for me. I don't know. Maybe
specifically define evolution. Specifically, what's the definition of evolution? I believe is what he started with.
Changing allele frequencies over time.
Is that what it is? Can you post that in here for us, please? Are you on a computer or on a phone?
I'm on a computer.
Can you post that? Yeah, it's not just for me and you. It's for everyone in this room and the audience, because that's who your jury is.
I mean, I'm not really concerned terribly about what most of the people here might think, honestly. I seem to not have permissions to post anything in the live stream voice chat.
Oh, they could fix that.
You have VC Verify. I think he has VC Verify, right? He should be able to.
Should be able to. Try.
He needs an Earth roll. He needs an Earth roll.
Yeah. Do you think you live on a spinning ball, Crispr?
What? I don't think you two should be verified.
Just quickly.
Links. You don't even know what the rolls get. Come on.
Just quickly. Crispr, do you think you live on a spinning ball in the middle of literal nothing?
Oh, certainly not in the middle of literal nothing. I'm not sure that
would you say the Earth is a globe?
Is a coherent concept.
Is Earth globe
93
it's a
million
yes or
miles
no.
away from something?
It's a yes or no. I'm just trying to sort you out a roll. It's not a debate.
Yeah.
Do you think Earth is globe?
Yeah, it seems
Okay.
that seems to be the shape of it.
Okay, thank
There
you.
go. You're able to post pictures now.
Oh, there
All
we
right,
go.
we good? Okay, so changing it. Yeah, I know you could write it. I understand that you have typing skills. Now that's the definition or the scientific theory.
That is the definition of the process. If you want the entirety of the scientific theory, it would take about 12 credit hours worth of courses.
No, scientific theories are brief, 1-2 sentences tops. That's not the definition either.
They're not.
By the way.
I mean, I don't know where to start with that,
All
other
right.
than to say that you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
What about just
okay? Well, let's
the
take a look at
hypothesis?
this. Let's take a look at
Jimmy,
this at 30 minutes
that should be a
after or
sentence,
50
right?
minutes after the hour.
Hold up, man. Like
Swan, man. Hold on.
No. I'm just saying that it's simple. It's one sentence.
Yeah, 1 to 2 sentences. That's all right. We'll get there. Let's start off with his change in allele frequency from Ernst Mayr, PhD, Professor Emeritus, Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard, by the way, and was once cited by Stephen Jay Gould as the world's greatest living evolutionary biologist, right? This is what he had to say. I pointed out more than a decade ago, that's 1977, by the way, that the reductionist explanation so widely adopted in recent decades, evolution is a change in gene frequency in populations, is not only non-explanatory, but is in fact misleading. So, what do you got to say to that?
Well, firstly, I'd like to see the rest of the quote.
Rest of the quote. This is the quote. It's a citation. Why would you want to see the rest of it when he just pummeled your change in allele frequency? We're going to get to that.
Sorry, my cat just pulled out my headphones.
What? Say again?
I said, sorry, my cat just pulled out the cable from my headphones, so I couldn't hear anything. I was just letting you know if you were talking to me, it wasn't getting through.
Yeah, this is a citation, right? If you want to, I put the source in here, right? If you want to go to that source, that's fine. And look at the rest of the article attempting to define evolution with an encyclopedia, right? Definitions are 1 to 2 sentences. Scientific theories are 1 to 2 sentences themselves at most. Right? Do you know what a scientific theory is?
So the rest of the quote, right? So the rest of the quote, the very next sentence, the sentence that you left out when you quoted
I left it. How'd you know I left it out? This is a citation.
Because I followed the link that you gave.
Okay. So what's the rest of the quote say?
So far more revealing, and this starts very next word.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course it does.
Far more revealing is the definition. Evolution is change in the adaptation and in the diversity of populations of organisms.
Well, really? Well, I wasn't dealing with that. You said change in allele frequency. You didn't say his second part of the definition, so I wasn't dealing with that.
So here, no, your question.
So what? You said change in allele frequency. That's a red herring fallacy, sir.
I have no idea why you're yelling.
That's a red herring fallacy, sir.
So
you said, I asked you, what is the definition of evolution?
Because
everyone, just shut up.
Because I'm about to. It's because
I'm about to. Shut up for a second. Everyone heard you say. We ask you, what is the definition of evolution?
I'll explain why you're wrong.
Shut the fuck up. What's your problem, dude? I asked you, what is the definition of evolution? You said change in allele frequency. You didn't give me his second definition, so I didn't deal with that. I just dealt with the change in allele frequency. How does what he says in the second part help your claim?
And he typed it out.
How. I'm happy to explain how. It's in fact what I was trying to do. So, evolution is change in the adaptation and in the diversity of populations of organisms.
That's not what you said.
Please allow me to finish. So what does that mean?
You fucking punk ass
mother. Can I give you a bit of a hint? Just give you a bit of help here. Crispr, I just want to give you a bit of help here. If
you I don't need the help.
Yeah, well, you clearly do, so I'm going to give it to you anyway, regardless of whether you realize it. If you make a claim and that is disproven, and then you shift onto a new claim, you did. Everyone heard you do that.
So
I'm not even a vested interest. I don't even care about this.
You typed it in the chat.
Fuzzy, stop.
It would be helpful.
Crispr, stop. I don't even care about your debate. I don't care. Like, if you and Quantum, whoever wins, doesn't bother me. I don't care. It's not a passion of mine. But everybody heard you say those words. And now you're saying, oh, I never said those words. It's just straight up lying. Don't do that.
Precisely. I don't see the problem here.
I mean, he typed it out in the chat.
So, if I'm allowed,
typed it out. I'm sorry, you typed it out in the chat at 49 minutes after. Hold on a second. You typed it out at 49 minutes after the hour. Change in allele frequencies over time. That's what I was dealing with.
So, if I'm allowed, I can explain why what he said and I said are the same thing.
How can they be the same? That objection, Your Honor.
Oh, excellent question. How can they?
Objection, Your Honor. He said
question.
change in gene frequencies or allele frequencies. This fucking guy doesn't even know what alleles are.
Excellent question.
He said change in gene frequencies. It's sitting right here, right?
Would you like me to tell you?
I debunked. You cannot explain yourself out of this.
Do you want to find out?
Let him try. Go on.
Why? He's dead.
Yeah, it's okay. Just let him try one more time.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Diversity of organism. What is the diversity of organisms? Diversity of organisms is the difference in the alleles present in those organisms. What is the degree of adaptation adaptation is a result of the genes and alleles present in those organisms. So what then is the change in adaptation and diversity of populations of organisms? It's change of the allele frequencies in populations over time. They say the same thing with different words. You get a different impression from them, maybe, but ultimately, one and the other mean the same thing.
Okay, they mean the same thing. So I'll say it again. I pointed out more than a decade ago that the reductionist explanation so widely adopted in recent decades, evolution is the change in gene frequency over time, or gene frequency in populations, like you said, is not only not explanatory, but is in fact misleading. What does not explanatory mean?
So he feels, apparently,
he doesn't feel.
Felt, I think he's dead.
Who cares?
He felt.
How do you know what somebody dead feels?
Because of the thing that they said.
They said it. How do you know he felt it?
So the words, it's a reductionist. It's not explanatory.
It's not explanatory. What does misleading mean?
So the apparent meaning of those words is that okay, you didn't like me saying that he felt.
Making sense of it now.
I mean, you're this is preposterous. You're trying to Elmer Fudd sophist your way out of this.
I don't know if you're gonna keep interrupting what I'm saying.
Keep interrupting you. Give me the scientific theory of evolution, since you can't define this fucking thing. I want it right now. Do you know what a scientific theory is?
So look,
what is a scientific theory, sir?
So a scientific theory is an explanatory framework. They tend to be quite large.
Oh, really? Is that what it is? You sure about that, sir? Can you cite that for us?
I mean, if you want me to go off of like on a search for a bunch of different things,
I do. Because I think you're making shit up. And so does everyone else in this hang up. Give me the definition of a scientific theory. It's an explanation, explanatory power. What is it?
And do you think the evolution has a scientific theory?
Leave him go. Hold on.
So, I mean, I don't know what kind of source you're looking for here. Who is this? Oh, I don't know who that is. All right. So, scientific theory is used to mean basically an explanation. I'm just looking at Wikipedia here. Not the best source. I started with it. If you want to complain about it later, fine. We'll find something else. Scientific theory, explanation of an aspect of the natural world that can be repeatedly tested and verified in accordance with the scientific method, protocols, observations. So, explanation, explanatory framework. How is it being explained?
Why didn't we check Wikipedia before we started this whole conversation? You guys?
I don't know why you didn't check Wikipedia.
I can't believe we didn't check Wikipedia. Oh, all right, man, maybe we should pack it up.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have interest in particular topics. If you guys are interested in those, I was told by someone that someone in here wanted to talk to me specifically about some particular issue. I don't know what particular issue it was they wanted to talk to me about.
Evolution.
But that's not a specific issue.
He wants the theory of it. He wants the theory of it, you know,
All right, so I don't know, you must be snorting shrooms or something. What you said was in part correct, but in whole incorrect. So scientific theories explain the how and why, mechanism and the process, like germ theory. Scientific theories are a result of validated, confirmed scientific hypotheses that have been rigorously tested. From chemistry of bot, a scientific theory summarizes a hypothesis or group of hypotheses that have been supported with repeated testing. From quarks to quasars, a scientific theory consists of one or more hypotheses that have been supported with repeated testing. And then finally, from the University of Rochester Physics Department, which echoes the two above, but is a bit more specific, a scientific theory represents a hypothesis or group of related hypotheses, which has been confirmed through repeated experimental test. So, being that's the case, give me the scientific theory of evolution.
So then you want me using your definitions here.
That's not mine.
Give you
They're not mine.
Using the definition that you have presented.
The definitions I have presented, yes.
Right. Every single
one.
No,
just one.
No,
I want your best one. I want the best one that confirms evolution. I want the best one, clown show. I want the natural phenomena observed. Do you even know what an what are the
a series of hypotheses, right? That's what I think you said. It's in one series of hypotheses.
Yes,
not,
right.
Not
it could be one.
A series.
Yes. We're going to go with one at a time.
The thing is, I cannot give you the entire theory of evolution.
No, then you can't. Then you don't have a scientific theory.
Sorry that you interrupted. I'm sorry that you interrupted the middle of my sentence.
Yeah, I actually did.
Cannot help you if you're interrupting the middle of my sentences. If scientific theory, series of hypotheses, then giving you one hypothesis is not giving you scientific theory.
Okay, then we're going to work with one. Then we're going to go to the next. We're going to do 3. Okay. How about that? So I want your best one first.
But just to be clear,
shut up.
Just to be clear, you understand that giving you one hypothesis.
Did you listen to what I just said? I said we're going to do 3. Your best 3. Right?
If you have longer than that, we can do more than 3. We can go through them all if you want. Depends how long.
No, we're not going to go through them all.
Yeah, but we can't do all of them at one time. So to start somewhere, you have to pick one.
Yeah, one at a time. Do you know the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment?
So I'm just trying to make sure that we're all on the same page on this.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
Well,
do you know the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment, please?
If I give you...
Do you know the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment, please?
So let me explain the way this works.
No, you're not explaining shit. What are the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment before you get started?
So I was asked the question before, and now you're
asking me.
I'm
going to tell you what, sir. And you're going to get your ass kicked out of here if you keep on.
I don't care.
Diverting away.
So the thing is, I was asked a particular question. And I'm trying to answer it.
Yeah, you're not answering it.
Well, how would you know? Because you keep interrupting me.
You're not answering it. We want the best hypotheses. I don't even think you know what an experiment is.
Cool. Now,
you
understand, though, that if I give you one hypothesis, it's not the
Oh
same.
my God. Dude, shut up, Crispr.
What is this?
Shut up, dude.
About?
Shut up.
Okay, we understand that, Crispr. We understand that one is not giving it all, but you have to start somewhere, don't you? You can't just forever say, well, one is not all. You need to pick somewhere to start, and then we can go through some others if you've got time. But you need to start somewhere. We understand that one isn't the whole thing.
That's why we said 3.
Sure. Okay.
So what's your first hypothesis?
So drift is a good one. I think drift
okay,
is
natural phenomena observed, please.
Okay, so we observe that there are populations. Observe that new alleles will occur in those.
No, you don't observe. You observe populations. Is that what you said?
Yes.
We observe populations of what?
Of E. coli, of mice,
E. coli.
Fish.
Let's do 1. We observe populations of E. coli. So bacteria. All right, that's your dependent variable. What's the independent variable?
So I would actually say that the dependent variable would be the range of alleles present within that population.
The range of alleles in a we already went over alleles.
So I believe I was asked about a particular hypothesis.
Oh my God! Yeah, you just changed it. So
cool.
we observe.
No, I'm not.
E. coli is not going to work, right?
So you see that within a population, a certain range of alleles are present. Okay.
How do you observe that in nature, sir?
take a sample and sequence it.
Oh, you take a sample and sequence it, but you don't actually naturally observe this, right? You have to take this and get the alleles. We're going to get to that in a second. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll tell you what. Just go ahead. Just give me the dependent variable, which you observed. Again, so I can write it down.
So, again, I was saying that if you're going to frame it in that structure.
Yeah, that's the scientific method structure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine if that's the way you want to frame it.
Not the way I do. That's why I asked you, what are the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment, sir?
So I'm just continuing on.
No, you're not just going to continue on because it seems that you have a problem with that.
I was asked a question.
So
I'm trying to answer it.
You seem to have a problem with dependent variable. That's why I asked you, what are the 3 constituent? Don't overtalk me. What are the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment?
Generally, you would have something that you're measuring.
What's that called?
So you have an independent variable, you have a dependent variable.
Okay, and
you're trying to find the correlation and statistical.
Not correlation, not statistics. It has nothing to do with that. No, it's cause. The independent variable is the cause. The dependent variable is the effect. Now you got one more set of certain variables with the independent dependent variable in an actual scientific experiment. What is that?
So I'm not sure what framework you're working with.
Oh my God. I'm working with the scientific method framework, sir.
I doubt that.
Oh, really? You doubt that? Can you confirm that?
Can I confirm that I doubt it?
Yeah. Can you confirm that you know what a scientific experiment is? Go ahead and define that for us, and we're going to need citation, please.
So if you're asking me to go track down a bunch of random stuff.
No, not random.
Not random. Use a little bit of specificity, please.
So you said
very specific.
Yeah, so you said my take on this was somewhat questionable. So I'd like to address this. I'm going to expose you right now. Right?
This is
so at 8 minutes after the hour, relax. I'm going to expose you since you said that my demonstration or my explanation of experiment was wrong. So I'm going to expose you right now from Penn State University at 8 minutes after the hour. There should be 3 categories of variables in every experiment: dependent, independent, and control. From explorable.com, they're a research organization, professional type, one each. There are 3 important variables you have to remember when you're designing your experiment: the independent, dependent, and controlled. From Anne-Marie Helmstein, PhD, Biomedical Sciences, from physicsabot.com, when you design an experiment, you are controlling and measuring variables. There are 3 types of variables: controlled, independent, and dependent. From my tutor, GCSE Chemistry, what are the 3 main variables in a scientific experiment? Independent, dependent, and control. From Institute of Physics, when planning an investigation, students need to identify the variables they are considered significant and select the ones they want to look at for cause and effect. If possible, any other variables that will affect the outcome of the experiment need to be kept constant during the investigation. The 3 variables are, shockingly, independent, dependent, and control. That's it. You're finished. You don't know what a scientific experiment was. So, here we go again. Dependent variable, please, in your evolution hypothesis.
Diversity of alleles.
Variable. Okay. The effect diversity of alleles, which is a begging the question fallacy, but we'll get to that in a second. After we're done with this train wreck of a dumpster fire. You know you'd fail 5th grade general science, by the way. Just to let you know. Independent variable, cause.
So that would be over time.
Over time? What? So time causes the diversity of alleles. One, that's train wreck non sequitur. Number two, where's evolution at?
So if we go back to evolution being change of allele frequency over time, then I think you'll see that if the frequency of alleles are changing over time.
But remember, the change of allele frequency over time was train wrecked by the king of evolution himself, Dr. Ernst Mayr.
I don't recognize him as being the end-all authority of anything.
I think he's a bigger authority than you can ever muster.
You're absolutely welcome to think that.
Yeah, he's one of the fathers of 20th century evolution theory, sir. And you're going up against it. You're parroting the wrong pseudoscience. So number two, time doesn't cause anything. What time causes alleles? What are alleles?
Variants of genes.
Genes. Not variants. No. I said alleles. Right?
Yes, I said alleles are variants of genes.
So a variance of genes. Okay, where'd you get genes from naturally? Because evolution is a natural philosophy, right? Where'd you get genes? That is nucleotides. Let's go back to nucleosides and nucleotides naturally.
So we're just completely changing the subject.
No, we're not. We're back on your alleles. Because I said you were begging the question. Right? That number one, this isn't a hypothesis because time is not an independent variable. It doesn't cause anything. Time is the conceptual medium in which all events in this universe, what we call a universe, take place in. Right? So if you're saying time's an independent variable, then time's an independent variable every single time because we can't get out of time. No pun intended. So now I moved on to your alleles. Where'd you get alleles from? You're begging the question. That is, you're assuming the very thing you're attempting to prove. So where did you get the alleles naturally, please?
So if you have a gene and you have a mutation.
No, you don't have a gene yet.
Well, then we're going past the scope of evolution, aren't we?
What is evolution then?
So if evolution is the change of allele frequencies over time.
I debunked that.
No, you didn't, though.
Yes, I did.
So firstly, you're talking to me, not Ernst Mayr.
Professor Ernst Mayr debunked you, sir. Everyone in this hangout knows it.
If you're defining knowledge as justified true belief, it's not a true belief.
Yeah, knowledge isn't justified true belief. You
I probably
moron.
Agree with you.
Justified true belief. That's not knowledge. Belief isn't knowledge. It's the antithesis of knowledge. Do you know that horse shit was debunked about 350 years ago?
Can you know something that's false?
Get the fuck. Tell me how you get alleles naturally. Genes. Now, I want a 30-mer DNA or RNA that formed naturally from its respective building blocks. That means nucleosides and nucleotides. I just want one. Give me 30.
So that would be before life, right?
Before life. No, you claimed alleles.
Yes.
Right?
So life already has alleles before its life.
Life, you claimed alleles. Evolution is supposed to be a naturalistic theory. You didn't. You haven't even given us the theory yet.
So I can't give you the theory without giving you the hypotheses. We already discussed
right.
That.
What's the hypothesis again?
So we're talking about drift, or at least I was trying to.
Drift. The only thing that's drifting is fucking your coherence. You said diversity of alleles. Your independent variable was time. So time causes the diversity of alleles.
So the diversity of alleles changes over time.
Changes. So change is your mechanism, right?
The mechanism would be mutation.
Mutation of what? Alleles?
Of the gene.
Yeah, alleles are genes.
Told you mutation.
Alleles and genes are not the same thing.
Oh, you fucking moron.
I knew he was gonna fucking
really?
say.
Citation, please. I want to see this one. Alleles are not genes, really.
Alleles are versions of genes. You cannot talk about them as the same thing.
So alleles are not genes, they're versions of genes. So they're fucking genes.
What I said was that alleles and genes are not the same thing.
So they're just versions. That's a law of identity violation. You're a fucking walking clusterfuck.
Is a letter an alphabet?
You're a walking clusterfuck. Is a letter an alphabet? No. But alleles are genes. Show me an allele that's not a gene.
So no allele is a gene.
Show me an allele that's not a gene. Cite it right now.
Every allele.
Moderator.
Every single allele is a particular version of a particular sequence.
Gene.
A
right?
gene is every variant of that sequence.
Oh my God,
in that
you
location.
fucking Elmer Fudd Weasel, you. Allele, definition, one of two or more alternative forms of a gene. Genes. So that's what I said. They're fucking genes. So they're made of DNA. I want you to show me how you form naturally, because evolution theory, which you can't even define, is a naturalistic theory. So you have to get genes naturally. Do you follow that train of thought?
So if your question is, how do you get different genes? We're talking about something other than drift.
Oh, I'm questioning where you get the genes to start drifting those mugs, man.
So if your question is how you get the things that drift, you're not talking about drift, you're talking about something else.
Because you're begging the... Do you know what begging the question fallacy is, sir?
I do not need to explain how X happens.
How X happens? You don't.
To explain how Y happens.
Oh, really? Well, that's a hypothesis. How X and Y are related?
So if you say something about how X and Y are related, that's your business. But if I'm only talking about
my what?
Y, not talking about X, then we're not talking about the same
That's my
thing.
what? The X and Y, that's my what? What'd you say?
That's your business.
Oh, that's my business. Do you know that that's hypothesis reasoning?
Yeah, sure. That's fine. If you want to have a different hypothesis than the one I'm talking about, that's fine.
You don't have a hypothesis yet. You don't have a viable dependent or independent variable.
That's you saying it. I'm not impressed.
It's not an opinion. We just wrote it. I just went through it. Here's your fucking thing. Here it is. At 9:19 after the hour, dependent variable, the effect, diversity of alleles, independent variable, time. I didn't finish the hypothesis. The hypothesis, time causes the diversity of alleles. What does that have to do with evolution? That only has to deal with time.
So I believe that would cause the change of allele frequency over time.
That's what I said. Change. Change isn't a cause or a mechanism. Like a change in the weather isn't a cause for a fucking hurricane.
The change is the observation.
The change is the cause and mechanism, sir.
No, the mutation would be the
mutation. You're a fucking circle jerking idiot. You don't know what alleles are. You don't know what genes are. You can't get genes naturally. It's a second law of thermodynamics violation. How do you get a nucleoside, which has to come before a nucleotide? Nucleotides make up genes. How do you get the nucleoside naturally without violating the second law of thermodynamics?
Entropy.
Okay, so,
remember that.
So again, we're completely changing the subject now.
We're not changing the subject. We're on alleles, genes, nucleotides, nucleoside.
No. Subject is drift.
Fucking subject.
Subject is drift.
It's your drift
subject
of coherence. It's a subject.
I'm sorry, you're the one who can't stay on the topic of drift.
I'm on the topic, sir. Let's just stick with your hypothesis right here. Time.
I wish we would.
Hypothesis. We're going to post this here for everyone to see. For evolution, by the way. Time causes the diversity of alleles. You'd fail 5th grade general science. Time is never an independent variable. It's all controlled constant. And you ain't proving time here. We're proving evolution. So your cause here is time, not evolution.
What happens over
is
time?
Evolution time? Or is time time?
So I said that a thing happens over time.
Who gives a shit?
Time is the thing that you're measuring.
We're not measuring anything.
You're measuring the passage of time.
A hypothesis. Listen, sir. The scientific method isn't involved or want to know. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Hypothesis testing experiments never, ever look for quantitative results. They always look for qualitative. The how and why. The cause of the how and why. So it's no measurement. It either causes it or it doesn't directly. That's it. There's no quantitative aspects of the scientific method. None.
I'm pretty sure the cause that this bozo is trying to figure out is reproduction.
Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
So
what?
So you have two variables. You are asking for two variables, right?
Mm-hmm.
One that is dependent and one that is independent.
Thanks.
Right?
Yeah, we knew that.
Okay, cool. So the variable is a thing you can measure. Okay. You can measure allelic diversity. You can measure.
We're looking for the cause of diversity. We're not measuring it.
So if you're looking for the cause of diversity,
correct.
The diversity is produced through mutation.
Oh, mutation. That's not in your hypothesis.
So mutation is something that occurs with some chance per base per replicative cycle.
That's mutation. That's not evolution.
That produces a change in alleles.
Really? So can we get change in alleles without mutation?
If you have,
you fucking dumbass. Do you even know what change in allele frequency is?
If you have,
that's like different blood types, different hair color, different eye color.
You just asked me a specific question.
Yeah, I did ask you a specific question.
Are you going to wait for the answer, or are you just going to keep talking?
Yeah, I am going to keep talking because you're a pretender clown fuckwit
I'll just
that doesn't know what a hypothesis is, doesn't know what an experiment is, doesn't know what evolution is, and should be picking up cans alongside of the road. Supervised. That's who I'm talking to. I've already exposed every single aspect of your fuckwit pseudoscience theory, which isn't a theory, and your mainstream baloney science acumen. You have none of them. I'm done.
Moderator.
With you. Fuck off. You've been erased.
Moderator. Bones your clock.
What an embarrassment you are. Oh, and by the way, I CRISPR'd your ass on the PZ Myers presentation I gave with his synteny fucking bullshit of human chromosome 2 fusion. Let me get you that because you were on there too. That was about 4 years ago. So you can thank me for making you a star back then, you fucking clown.
He's not ready for you.
Fucking doesn't even know what he's talking about. What a fucking embarrassment.
I want to call a new record.
Say again.
I want to call a new QE Road record.
This was a train wreck of epic proportion, and he's a biological major, man. Mr. Fucktard that doesn't even know what a hypothesis is.
I wish you just would have said mutation.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, he said mutation, dude. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah.
So reproduction, cause, and then what would you call it? Yo, do you play chess, QE? Where do you live? Can I come hang out with you?
This fucking guy, man. That was pretty damn funny, though. I have to give him that. Let's go get it, PZ Myers.
Damn, I thought
the variable would be mutation. And then what's the rest?
They brought this guy in as a ringer against Witsit over in 24/7 or over in Gems. I thought he was the fucking man.
Yeah, he's the man, all right.
The effect of diversity.
There you go,
Did I get
Name's
all
Crispr
that right?
and everything.
Did you have to type that in the text chat, Crispr?
What did he type? There you go, Crispr. You're a star in that genre right there, you fucking bozo. He was done the first sentence out of his mouth. Crispr is, according to Steve McClown of the Clan McClowns, you know, Steve McRae of the old non sequitur show. That's where he comes from. He comes from that doofus fucking colony there. Crispr. He was in on the discussion here with PZ Myers that I did, that I just shown on my channel. It was about 4 years ago. So he's a part of that. I didn't deal with him directly because he didn't say too much because he's a fucktard.
Wait, QE, you have a channel?
So
No.
did you listen to this guy when I had him write it out, right? I had him write it out that, okay, what is evolution? He said, well, change in allele frequency. And then he tried to dodge that, right? But we have it right here. You just wrote it. This is what you get, sir. This is the clowns that you get. They're just pretender clowns. That's all they are. That's all I got, man.
I thought he was gonna do better.
I did.
Like they were having trouble with Witsit in Gems, and then they brought this guy in. I was like, oh shit! And he started talking about all kinds of technical shit. I was like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about.
It took him a long time to get to his point, though. He kept filibustering for like 5 minutes before he actually answered anything. Like, man, why do they got to do that? Why do they got to be so dishonest? Just answer the question. If you know what you're talking about, it's true. Just speak honestly. Like, what? I don't know.
My favorite part was when he was like, I don't think you know what an experiment is. And then he just slapped him with all of those sources. And he's like, had to go undefeated.
What's up?
Why do I got to look on the internet for all these different things? Like, he didn't even know. Right there, when he said that, you already knew he was done.
I knew he was done before he got in here. They're all finished because it's a fairy tale. This gentleman has no science acumen to speak of. He has no idea what he's talking about. First thing he said was changing allele frequency. He was done right there because Ernst Mayr just fucking mule kicked his dumb ass.
Well,
and then they'll go into, will you believe something? Yeah. Especially if he's the father of 20th century evolution theory. Yeah. Ernst Mayr, he's one of the big guys. So he's parroting the wrong pseudoscience to begin with. Then he gives me a hypothesis that's not a hypothesis. He doesn't know what the constituent parts of a hypothesis, let alone experiment, which we then exposed. And then he said time causes change in alleles, which he's begging the question fallacy with alleles, right? Because alleles are genes. That's what they are. And he said it a number of times. He said alleles aren't genes. And then he said, allele, there's certain types of genes. So they're fucking genes then. You're not going to find an allele that's not a gene. Not going to fucking happen. That's their fucking word. And change in allele frequency. Let me tell you what change in allele frequency is, ladies and gentlemen. Blood type changes, hair color changes, eye color changes, you know, the earlobe attached, non-attached. That's allele frequency change. That's it. That's all it is.
Where does I want to know, because I never know how does the argument go after mutation?
It doesn't even get to mutation with me, because to mutate something, genes, you have to show how you got genes naturally.
Yeah.
Because evolution, whatever the fuck that is, no one knows what it is. Not him or anyone else on this flat Earth knows what it is. So
even when it comes to mutation, I want to know when have we witnessed or observed mutations being beneficial to a species where it gets
always a loss of information. It's always loss.
I explained it like this: if your mom smokes cigarettes when she's pregnant, you're gonna be born a little bit fucked.
Well, thanks a lot. My mom smoked when she was pregnant.
That explains.
But that explains it.
Did he say that time causes evolution?
Time causes diversity of populations, or I'm sorry, diversity of alleles. Time causes.
I asked him that. I said, when do we ever see a mutation that's beneficial? They brought up that nylon thing, the nylonase.
And I summarily pummeled it. You want me to summarily pummel it again?
No, I didn't have a chance to get it out over in Gems.
Whatever helps me sleep at night, Crispr. You just got your ass CRISPRized, son. And if you don't know that, I'm sorry. I'm not surprised because you're a fucking retard, man. You need to go back to that university you got that mail order degree from Tuco Community College in Tobago, and ask for your money back because for failure to provide services. You have an open and shut case, fucktard. You didn't know what a science. You'd fail 5th grade general science. And evolution is a fairy tale, epic proportions. You're a fuckwit.